Sunday morning, we just went to Home Depot and purchased some pieces for my rubber stamp shelves. And this is gonna go along the bottom of that ledge where the closet is, with this piece up like this to create a little lip. And so there'll be a nice inch and a half here to use as a picture shelf. This is just another shelf for the closet. We're gonna replace the vent. Got some brackets, blank plates, some putty, a new spring for the back of the door, really sprucing everything up, and some cable, hooks, and some texture. So got screws and nails. Hopefully that's everything that we're gonna need for this week. I took a piece of this trim, and this is an 8-inch wide board, and I nailed it along the edge, getting it as close as I can. And I'm gonna put some putty in there and then wait for it to dry and sand it, and then it'll be ready for paint. There's 2 5-foot sections like this, since 10-foot wouldn't fit in the car, and I think it'll be easier to hang up the 2 5-foot sections anyway. And then we'll putty the seam, get it sanded down, and paint it. I'm very happy with how smooth this came out with the putty and the sanding. We're gonna hang up this section and then measure for the second section because it's not gonna be exactly 10 feet and we want a nice snug fit. Back in the room, and I've decided to wait to put up the shelves since it's gonna be a different color than the wall, and it will probably be easier to paint them separate and then put it together. I was just kind of in a hurry to get it done because I can't piece together the second 5-foot section with a piece of trim until we know exactly how many inches it needs to be, so I can cut the pieces separately and get nice clean edges on them. So I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing, but we are gonna hold off on putting up that shelf for right now. And I'll show you what I just did to the inside of the closet. From where the shelf was before, there was a lot of thick paint. You can see the ridges there. I took a razor and tried to shave it off the best I could, and then took a bunch of spackling and tried to smooth it out even further. Once this dries, I'll sand it a little bit, and then I bought a can of texture, and I'm gonna hit it really lightly. No one's ever gonna see this anyway. I just don't like to leave a job done sloppy. Jared just pulled off the vent for me. I'm really excited to put a new cover up there. The old one was caked in paint, so a nice fresh white one after we paint is gonna make a big visual difference, I think. And I'm very excited to replace things like the light switches and the outlets. I just used a whole can of orange peel wall texture to hopefully make this blend in a little bit more when it's painted. And then there are also some really rough sections of these main walls over here from where someone had done a poor job patching drywall in the past. So hopefully this will make it blend in a little bit better once we get the new coat of paint on. I finished putting up the painter's tape along the top of the walls and pulled off the outlet and light switch covers. And this was a coaxial cable, and when I pulled off the plate, the cable just fell out of the wall, and you can see through to the outside. I decided to start painting so that I can put up those shelves tonight, or at least one of them, because I really need Jared's help. It's too high and it's too heavy for me to do by myself, so I painted this top part, obviously, so that we can put that shelf up underneath. The camera does not like this. It's having a hard time focusing. But then I also put paint on this side over here just so I could start to see what it looks like. They told me it was only gonna take 1 coat to cover this color, and it's definitely gonna take 2. It's Monday afternoon. I just got home from work, and I'm trying to decide what I wanna tackle first in this room. We got the shelf put up last night, and I just put a couple of random things up there so you can get the idea of how this shelf is going to work, and I'm very pleased with it, other than where the 2 pieces meet. So even though these 2 boards were cut from the same board, they did not match up very well. It's gonna take a lot of putty and sanding to get this smoothed out, but the mistake that I made was not making note of how the boards were originally connected and then putting them up in that same order. So it must have been, you know, one of these pieces is flipped around from what it was originally, and that's why it doesn't meet just right, but we'll figure it out. This is the second layer of putty, and I have been able to go through and smooth out places where there were nail holes. I used a nail gun to attach this, and it's probably gonna take 1 or 2 more layers here to give me a nice smooth surface. So it's putty, dry, sand, putty, dry, sand, until it's nice and smooth, and then it'll be time for paint. Here's a look at the painting progress. For right now, definitely gonna need that second coat. And you can see here the putty is building up. This is gonna be my last video for tonight because the lighting is getting really bad in here, but I'll check in with you tomorrow. Just finished working for the day at my job, and now it's time to work in here. I got a lot of painting done last night, but it's time to finish up covering the green. And this is looking pretty good. It's time to sand again and see if I need another layer of putty, but I think it's gonna turn out just fine. The first coat over the green is done. Obviously it needs a second coat, and I'm getting a little nervous because that's how much paint is left. So the guy assured me 1 coat was gonna be enough and the 1 can was gonna be plenty, and I'm probably gonna have to go back to Lowe's. All the green is gone. And the color looks kind of pinkish purplish, even though it's called elder white and it's mostly gray, but it looks a lot like the color of the bathroom wall, which is the room it's adjacent to. Looks very similar, actually. It was fun to come home from work today and see this room painted in the daylight, since it was dark last night and dark this morning when I left for work. I'm really loving this color. I'm sad that I have to go back to Lowe's and get more paint, but I was not able to get a full second coat everywhere, and the green does show through. After that, I'll be moving on to painting the closet. It's been a pretty frustrating week for this project. So the last time I checked in was Wednesday morning, and Wednesday after work, I did go to Lowe's to get more paint, but they didn't have any. So we had to go again yesterday, and I really just haven't been able to move forward for a couple of days. So on top of it just being like a very busy season at work because spring break is coming and we just took our midterm and the quarter's ending. So there's lots of extra tasks to do right now at my job, and then not being able to move forward with this project because of the paint situation. It's been frustrating, but it's Friday. Spring break starts in about 9 or 10 hours, and then I will be able to continue. We were able to get the paint that we needed last night after, I think this is our 6th Lowe's trip, and we've made like 5 Home Depot trips, but the project marches on. It's Friday night, and I just found out a couple hours ago that they actually are coming to do the tile tomorrow instead of Monday, so I've got some painting to do. There are a few more spots that need touched up, but this is the last remaining bit of green in the room. It's about 10 p.m. on Friday night, and as far as I can tell, I'm done painting, and I just need to pull down the tape and get all my tools out of here because they're coming to tile in the morning. That kind of worked out okay because now I'll be forced to relax this weekend. When I thought I had a couple of extra days, I was planning on, just painting a little bit on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday. Now it's done. I don't have to worry about it. And check out this shelf. You can't even see that crazy gap there in the middle. The putty really did a good job covering it up, and with the paint, it's almost seamless. It's Saturday morning. The tile installers are on their way. So we're getting one last look before tile. The painting is all mostly done, but in the daylight this morning, I can see a few places that still need touched up. I'm loving the color of the walls. I really like the bright white in the closet. It was a dingy off-white before, so this looks so much better. And I am so happy with how this long picture shelf turned out. You really can't see that seam in the middle unless you're really looking for it, which no one will be. So I was very happy with how that all came out. I'm happy with how the inside of the closet looks and the door and the bookshelf, and I'm excited to see the tile. Little Luke Bryan has loved being able to sit on this ledge and look out the window. I'm a little sad for him because once I get my stuff back in here, he won't be able to do it anymore, but I'm planning on putting my paper towers on the left and right hand sides. And then my plan for the middle was just to put a bunch of live plants because I thought it would be wonderful to have live plants in here, but I might need to leave him a little spot to lay. This is the first peek at the new floor. The tile installer's coming back on Monday. It's Saturday afternoon now, but he's coming back to grout and clean it up, and then it'll be time to move everything back in. And in case you've forgotten all the things I'll be moving back in, here's some of the fun that I'll be going through in the next few days. We're gonna make a trip to IKEA tomorrow. There's a floor lamp that I really hope that they have in stock that I wasn't able to get delivered, and a couple of other little things. I'll also probably put together some things that are out here in the garage. This is my real life mess right now. A combination of things that are staying, going, things that are new that need put back together, things that need to find new homes. It's a lot, and that's how I'm going to be spending my spring break, but hopefully I'll be able to get it all done. So it's Saturday right now. Hopefully by next Sunday, everything has a home and everything is where it's supposed to be, and I'll be ready to craft. I'll see you next time for another update. Until then, go make something beautiful.